Hello, YouTube. We return with I'm going to do a homelessness vlog today. We're going to do, I think today is 24, 25? Friday, 21 plus 2, 3, 4. Today should be 25, if I could do math. And we're going to mix it up a little bit. Instead of just me looking at the camera, because I don't have much to say today. Today, I've captured pretty much everything I want to say. And how about we just play some Final Fantasy 3? At least mix it up. You get to see me relax, and I'll let you watch me finish the last of my... I'll let you see me do the last of my editing for the sister channel. I'm sure this is and I'm just gonna kind of chill. This could go to talking to the future. It could, but I'm not talking to the future today. Chilling. I'm chilling as well. Indeed, I have a list of things. I have a list of things I want to say. Those will go to talking to the future. I have a list of lessons. I'm not going to pay attention to this text. I have a list of things I've been meditating on and thinking about, and you know, these two channels are probably going to become largely indistinguishable. I'm okay. The opening bit here until it lets me grind, because why not? It's a gaming channel. This used to be a gaming channel. So what the heck? So if you're only tuning in watching shorts, you know that I'm doing awesome. What I was thinking about, maybe talking about, what I needed to maybe discuss today, as far as my vlog, homelessness. Homelessness is going to be explicit about that. And I haven't set my name for the new viewer. I am Shaggy. I am Shaggy. I am a Philalite. So I accidentally paused myself. In fact, let me fix that so I can't accidentally do it again. Yeah, that's going to happen frequently, so bear with me. I have my oops, that's going to happen a lot too. This doesn't have octaves. Philalite is a religious designation. It means a lover of truth. And what that means is that I'm a compulsive teller of the truth. It's how I express my religion. I go by Shaggy not because I have any particular affinity for Scooby-Doo. There is a meta joke there in that I am tall and skinny and a stoner. I used to have long hair. You'll know that if you engage with older readings, older lives. Cut my hair, shaved, really baby for my homelessness. So the 25th of September, time of homelessness. 26 to 18, I think, is still 25 So, something I think that freaks people out about religious people is they expect religious people proselytizers. And if I'm anything kind of proselytizing, my approach to my religion is that we can be aggressive and we can be boring in our approach. And so, as a philologist, as a lover of truth, I'm also a lover of learning. And the Shaggy part of my name, I like myself a lot, especially when I do a new series. Doing something that I'm interested in. This is the Shaggy. I tend to get lost in the I tend to get lost in birds and knits while I comb out my hair, so to speak. Simon of Needs Gaming is something I'm going to reference a little bit. I will tell you a story, something I've learned from them about my approach religiously. Right, and as a gamer and as a creator. Shaggy dog story is the lost Southern convention that came with the tall tale from Scotland and Ireland. But what it is a story that never ends. It's a story that never gets to the story. In fact, the idea is that you have a person who's a good talker and you just feed them alcohol because the closer they get to the perfect amount of drunk, the more likely they are to actually tell the story that you want to hear. And so it's a public performance, but more than a public performance, it's a public service. And it participates in the old-time religion of storytellers being understood as mendicant, and by that I mean, I'm certain that I'm using the word mendication or mendicate or mendicant wrong, but it means a traveling priest, a traveling minister, a traveling proselyte. I do that every time, proselyte, not proselyte. And the idea is that stories, the Mouton and the Aletheia of story, that is the myth and the truth of story, have lessons, wisdom embedded in them. And the Shaggy dog storyteller tends to be somebody who's lived a life with a lot of wisdom and Mouton and Aletheia baked into it. And I have done that. If you want to talk about religious suffering, I've been reading Job, and I'm going to read it again and again and again, and I'm going to end up reading it for this podcast channel, this YouTube, whatever you want to call it, because Job is absolutely not what you've been taught, absolutely not what I've been taught. I recorded that for almost the wrong channel. I talked about it, I talked about it for very much almost the wrong channel while I was playing Final Fantasy last night. I talked about it a little bit. And so you're going to have to get used to the idea that there's going to be a lot of cross-pollination here between not just the channels as I work through ideas and get used to saying them and then hone them in and really know what I mean and what I'm talking about and what I want you to take. And there's always going to be something different that I want you to take away. But the Book of Job is a book that was upsetting me because it wasn't what I was taught it was. The Book of Job is very much a Platonic book, and it very much understands itself as a Platonic book. And it very much understands itself as practicing and almost innovating the novel form. And by novel form, I do mean the word novel to mean new, the new form of storytelling, but also the novel as we understand it. The only thing it lacks, and I said this on the other thing, but I can't know that you're going to watch everything. I want to talk about this now. This is part of my homelessness blog. The only thing it's missing to be a modern novel is movement from place to place. And so what it's trying not, I probably should listen to him, but what it's trying not to do is be outright Greek, because Plato, in his being outright Greek, was he was writing plays. And so if you pay attention, like I have recorded readings of much of Plato's work, not much, some of Plato's work, and if you pay attention, they have movement. The characters are moving from place to place. Characters are coming and going on and off the stage. And so what Job is trying not to be is Greek in its attitudes, but characters do come on and off the stage. There is movement, there is change over time and place. And in fact, it might even be intentionally defying Aristotle's opinion that any good story should take place over the course of a 24-hour period and then be done with itself. And so this decidedly does not take place over the course of a 24-hour period. And so that's kind of where I'm at. If I'm going to tell the story of my life, I'm going to do it as a shaggy storyteller, because it doesn't take place in one time or one place, and no one story is disconnected from any other. And for the most part, what I want you taking away is less the events, more the gist. Something I've learned in homelessness is to lean into the gist, and that's how I learned. But also how I think re-words, because the words you have access to, as I've told you, you can know a word. You can know that you know a word if you test your ability to articulate it. So by defining it in your own terms and being right, you can prove to yourself and to others that you know what the word means. And in that same way, by that same calculus, you can calculate whether you know other people. You can determine whether you know other people by defining them back to them or to other people who know them well enough to define them, and being right. And as an Aletheia, it's more important to me to speak the truth and be right than it is to preserve your feelings, is where I'm going. Even as a shaggy storyteller, it's important for me to protect your feelings. And so as a philosopher, I had to protect your feelings. I had no choice. I couldn't say things that were going to break apart your worldview, because that is a kind of evil. As an Aletheia, I am required to not be concerned with your feelings. And so these are all things that I've learned over the course of homelessness and I really don't know what I'm doing. I don't know this as well as I know literally all of the others. Even 5, I think, is the one that, no, 5 is 4, even 4 I know better. Where did Art go? I need socks. Socks are still a struggle. Thankfully, less cold now that I've started sleeping with all of my sleeping bag. But it's still wet. It's hard to get them dry with the hot hands. It's just like a cup. Just out, not feeling it. I'm still just fighting the hot hands, keeping it warm and stuff. I don't even know what I've done with it. You gotta really manage those. They tell you not to go to sleep with them and stuff because you'll set yourself on fire. But also, you have to manage it to keep it maximally hot or whatever, optimally hot. And so that's something I've learned in homelessness that I didn't anticipate ever having to deal with. Fun challenge. I love the challenge. Nice. That's good. You have to let these girls dance. Maybe not in this one, but in by 5. You have to. Where I'm at, though, is I've covered everything. Sort of. The same things that were happening with the other homeless people around me yesterday are still happening, and so I could repeat that. I could talk about how homeless people are just like homeless and poor people, because not everybody that I engage with is also homeless. Many of them are just unable emotionally and intellectually to care for themselves well enough that they can also provide themselves food. And so there's a kind of moral that I just don't want to always talk about, because I need to read. I need very much. There's a chapter of 2 or 3 chapters really, but there's at least one chapter of Ezekiel that you very much need to have read if you want to understand my worldview and why I say things like Kamala Harris is going to end the United States, and that's the goal of the Democrat Party. And in order for you to take me seriously when I say things like that, you need to have the metatext. You need the proof. You need to have seen it for yourself, and you need the good, articulate argument that insists and is able, that you're then able to show other people, no, look. And so that's really more of a meditation. Like, if I wanted to talk about that, that's really more of a meditation. You know, my experience as homeless today, I guess I just tell the story. I went to bed early last night. I'm trying to stay up later. First of all, I'm getting better at managing my body, which means that I am leaving myself enough battery to try to work for you after dark, so I could try to do more of these, more meditations, more let's plays, is what they'll end up being. But then those end up being really hard on my battery. Like Final Fantasy is rough on the battery. It really costs a lot of battery. And then of course screen grabbing costs a lot of battery. So I'm not complaining. I'm trying to manage these things in my head. Nice. And how I can, in my homelessness, how I can be more can reach to you and communicate with you more frequently and better. Because I guess Saturday and Sunday are coming, and so what it's probably going to come down to is that I'm just going to end up being really productive on Saturday and Sunday. I went ahead. This belongs in the homelessness blog. This isn't a meditation in a particular thought. I need to get better at that. Separating, that's what I'm doing wrong. That's what I'm learning today in my homelessness blogs, is that I'm not doing a good job of making it obvious when I'm going to be meditating and freely thinking, and when I'm going to be moralizing at you. About what you need to know about what I've learned in homelessness and how my journey in homelessness is going. And so the story at Christ's table, the people that I'm observing, the people watching, that needs to be in meditations, and maybe I even need to that makes sense. What I need to do is I need to do these homelessness vlogs can be a lot shorter. And so they can just be me talking straight to you. It's just me, or maybe me grinding a game that I need to grind, and I don't want that to go on the either channel, right? Okay. You don't need to hear complete thoughts about this stuff. You don't need to hear this stuff always. But this is what the homelessness. Just make it okay. This is what homelessness is, preparation versus readiness. And so the reason I went to bed so early, and the reason I've really not been stressing and pushing myself to stay late and be productive at night, is that I'm prepared for the winter. What I was thinking about, what I was meditating on this morning, what I was meditating on articulating to you this morning. Those are two things. I was thinking about it, and then I circled back around to think about it in the context of articulating it to somebody else, because this is relevant. It's possible to think about things in the context of how you understand them without also thinking about things in the context of how to articulate them to someone else. That's the difference in meditation and argument, and the lowest form of the abstractions. There we go. That's some wisdom that I've gained in homelessness. I was thinking about that and how important that is, and how I'm getting that kind of wrong as a blanket statement. I'm just kind of having my face prepared is kind of annoying for me, isn't it? And what I was thinking about specifically is that what I'm doing lately is, while the light is still out, I take time to meditate on, and you understand that meditate doesn't mean necessarily Zen. Okay, so this game does how I thought the original Final Fantasy would. This game, you quick save and it turns off, so I need to get the body I need to save, because what's going to happen is I'm going to go in there and I'm going to wipe. These old games were brutal. The spikes in difficulty were absolutely punishing. And we've talked about why that is. The why for that is because they wanted you to play them. Back in the day, adults had more free time. We were expected to do less, and B, these were made for kids. And one thing that is just blanket true about children is that they have the time and the patience necessary to bang their heads for 60 hours against a video game to grind to that degree. But also, when I'm really not sure where this came from, video games have always been a status symbol. Being able to afford video games for your children And I chose this game because I don't mind grinding the fuck out of it because of the JP feature, the jobs. If you haven't played this one, this is the one that first introduced the jobs. And so something that I never do in these games. How did I manage this? Something I never do in these games is grind anywhere approaching as much as many job points as I actually want to. I never actually have the classes maxed out to the degree that I want. I've beaten this one, and I beat it in the meaniest way possible. I made one of my characters super awesome, made everybody else mimics, and just had them do what he was doing and killed the boss in a stupid short amount of time. But that's only satisfying as a person like me who gets so fucking sick. I just get so fucking sick of these games by the end of them. So fucking, I don't even know how to articulate it. Because I've never, like I said, I've never really thought about it in a articulating what it feels like or what I feel to other humans sort of way. So what he's wearing is an 8, that's a 10, that's a 9. Can he, yeah, of course he can. Bronze knuckles. Can he dual wield? If he can dual wield, this game is stupid and I love it. If freelancers can dual wield this early, I love that. You can dual wield, I think you can dual wield in Final Fantasy 2 as well. Early. With a few penalties. But I meditate on 10th I'm doing enough to justify living in my spot. And I think about what I can do better. I always encourage you to do better, and I always encourage you through the course, especially my meditations, to do better. Think about what you're doing not well, and then do better. And so I do that. There's a maxim among trainers, managers, leaders in general, that you never ask anyone in your charge, anyone who respects you, or anyone, you never ask anyone, ever, as a blanket statement. You don't need the examples if it's just, you never do it. I mean, you should really never say never, but there are behaviors that you never want to do. One of them is you never want to ask someone something that you aren't willing to do yourself. Never ask someone to do something that you aren't willing to do yourself. And as a rule for life, that's a good one, and it'll get you pretty far, actually. You can make a pretty good life out of that maxim. The reason it works is because you will never break the golden rule, right? You'll just never break the rule of treating people the way you want to be treated if you don't ask people to do things that you aren't unwilling, that you yourself are not willing to do, that you are yourself unwilling to do. You'll just never break that rule. And if you never break that rule, you can at least make the claim and be true in your retelling of your life. You will actually be reaching toward Aletheia, not just the Mouton, when you say that you're righteous and blameless and sinless in that category. You won't have to confess times that you've asked people to do things that you were unwilling to do. You won't have to confess ways that you breached the golden rule in at least that category. And if you can just categorically unsin, end sin, end unrighteousness, end iniquity in your own behavior, if you can just categorically do that, you're right now, if you're thinking, oh, wow, if you can do that, it makes life just easy. That's the why. It just makes things easier. It makes people willing to be around you, and it makes people willing to volunteer to do things that you don't prefer to do. sets you up for success, and you want to succeed. I believe that about you. I believe that what you want is to succeed, and so I also understand, because I'm this way, that not everything is obvious, and sometimes you want to learn or develop for yourself. And so I absolutely am encouraging you to, wow, this freelancer level's almost maxed. Maybe not, it gets to 99 in this one. I'm absolutely encouraging you to be your own person and to experiment with the things. What I'm saying is what that Bruno Mars song says. Don't believe me, just watch. And these homelessness videos are intended. This one, frankly, isn't much, but they're intended to be something for you to watch. You don't have to believe me, but see how things change for me. See how the people around me react differently to me. You know, people chit-chat with me. I'm opening up more and being more chatty. Not charitable, but talkative. The woman on the bus yesterday talked to me. The two-line bus driver actually waited for me when she saw me. She actually didn't skip the line today. They almost always skip and want to cheat my stop. Come in a block before it where they can see it and not even drive all the way up there. I hope that there have been complaints now that it's cold of people standing inside PetSmart until they can see it coming up the hill, and then going out and standing at the stop because it's cold. And that's fucked up that you skip it so consistently. That strands people up there for half an hour. Now, it used to be a full hour. I have to stand there in the cold for a full hour, and that's miserable. No one likes that. I don't like that. I wouldn't recommend that for anybody. But anyway, she went the full route today. She actually went all the way up the hill and came around, and so she saw me. I was just I even told her, I said, oh my God, thank you so much. You are a true mensch. I thought I was late. I thought I'd missed you, so I was just kind of sauntering. And as soon as I saw her, she stopped and popped the door open, so I just started running. But I was 30 feet away. I wasn't close. I was not close. And that was just really cool of her. But that comes with, I didn't tell the story. She was talking with the guy in the front seat. I sit in the back. If the bus has music on it, I'll turn on like a talking something, but I don't listen to the book. But I'll put on news, or I'll listen to Rich Eisen, or I'll listen to Pat McAfee. But I'll listen to things that other people might be interested in, is what I'm trying to say. Or I'll text my dad and listen. I'm people watching. Listen to the conversations, because a lot of these people get real talkative. They get bored. Being homeless, being poor gets boring as shit quick. So we are still talking in the context of how video games are a status symbol and why they were for children, but why even adults who had the time weren't ridiculed for playing video games in the 80s and the early 90s like they are today. First of all, it wasn't addiction level of play, and second, you didn't actually have as many social commitments back then outside the weekend. The only people who were out every single day in a social commitment in the 80s and 90s, because people were adults and had children, and even the people who weren't adults and didn't have children weren't critically addicted to spending, shopping, and alcohol. The only people who were like that were people with spending addictions and alcoholics. And you can, if you don't remember, but if you go back and you do your research and you just watch talk shows from the 80s and 90s, spendaholics is what they called them, were a real problem. They were considered a real problem. That being a problem got brushed under the rug in 2008 because Obama wanted people to believe that his economy worked. So what he did is he just made everybody addicted to spending, a post-communist kind of taking the credit that the economy moves, even though everybody is addicted to credit, and it's not a real economy. economy. That's why when Biden, or not Biden, that's why when Trump got into office, he was so fucking appalled by what he inherited. He didn't inherit an economy. He didn't inherit a functional nation. He inherited 18th century France. But that's the goal of the Democrats, and that's a meditation for another day. I'm sitting there listening to the bus driver talk to the guy in the front row, and they're talking about how they're in their 40s and 50s, and they were talking about how they were really surprised by how expensive cable has gotten in the last 3 years. And now the reason that cable has gotten so expensive is because nobody uses it. I told you that was going to happen. I don't remember this game. This game, the first several dungeons are a real bitch. Absolutely, they were a real bitch on purpose. Because of the renting thing, as I was talking. But I think if I go up here, it's like, dude, I can look up here too. They were talking about how expensive cable was, and they were both talking about all they use their cable for anymore is to watch live sports. And so when I got off the bus at the station, I was like, hey, look, if all you're doing is watching live sports, you don't need cable. All you need is a good internet connection, and you need the app for whatever the league you watch is. And so I had been listening. I said, so I know you watch MLB. I think it's the NBC app actually has really good live local coverage. And I'm pretty sure the MLB app is actually more stable than the NFL app. And the NFL app over the last decade has gotten incredibly stable. It's so much better than it was even last year. Last year it was pissing me the fuck off at all times. And now it works almost without a hitch. If you picture-in-picture while it's on an ad, it panics. But that's every app. Twitch does that too. That seems to be every app. The way they summon up their ads is not the way. Obviously, they're not stored in the same way, and why would they be? As the video and streaming, even when it's live, they're coming in, they're being patched in somehow by some whatever third party, whatever. I don't claim to pretend to know exactly how it works. Thanks. Oh, I guess I should buy magic. I'm in the middle of like 3 different spinning plate stories. And so what I remember most recently, and this is my list of video games, what I remember most. My brain, for those who don't know me very well, is utter Swiss cheese from concussions. It's very hard for me to concentrate on one thing at a time. But my hands are interesting stuff in here. When I get glasses. My brain is good at keeping my hands doing a repetitive task. So instead of sitting and listening to me I don't remember, or having lots of cuts. I don't like to cut a lot, if you haven't noticed. I don't like to pause. I just want to keep going. This seems to be I like it. I'm thinking about preparation. One of the things I did last night was I took my new blanket and I turned it into a pillow/hood, and then I used my sleeping bag as that. I woke up. expecting to be cold and uncomfortable. And it wasn't. And so there's gratitude which comes with it. And we're gonna see if I can figure out editing today, because what I want to talk about from my homelessness journey isn't the people I've met today. It's not the ladies at the bar that are taking me seriously. It's not that I saw some often on the shelf where I got it from the shelves. It's just got a little bit of character because it survived an encounter with the water wizard El Don Vicente, Shaggy Kamikawa. El Don Vicente is just means Lord Vincent, because I love Don Quixote. One of the things I call myself. But man, they've also got American Monsters by Linda, whatever her name is. They've got a Brad Steger book. And I'm just like, I can't check it now and take it with me because I'm homeless and destroy it for sure. I really read those books so bad. American Monsters is such a good book. It's such a good book that she actually did a cease and desist on a guy who was using that title for his podcast. And won. He changed the name of his podcast because he was absolutely ripping her off. He used to be called American Monsters. I don't remember what he's called now. I submitted my UFO story to him and he asked me if he could use it for the TV show that he was producing, and then he never got back to me, so... that wasn't why I stopped watching the show. Listening to the show. But... preparedness, I woke up in the morning. In fact, I went back to sleep. I woke up again. Took a piss. Bitched at the moon for being so bright. Into a microphone. You can find that video. But really, I woke up and I'm like, why the fuck is it so bright? Like, pissed off about it. And what I'm trying to tell you is that Homelessness Day 25 is going so well that the only reason that I could possibly have to gripe and complain is that the moon was too bright. So anyway, I woke up and went back to sleep, and then woke up in time to catch the bus, and she waited for me because she's awesome. And I got to Christ's table half an hour early, and I don't know when they opened the doors, but I sat there and had a cup of coffee, talked to my buddy Madge, and honestly, I had about 20% battery, so I did the Hearthstone video that is going up, or will be going up now. When I finish this video, I think it's still rendered. I don't know. Will be going up when I finish this and start rendering this. You're gonna have to deal with when I'm recording public. I like when I record in public. I like having to listen past the what's that called? The noise, the ambient talking. And I like the synchronicity of when people shout out things that are very well timed to the conversation, because I like people watching. I like to sit in public and have conversations like this one. And so I'm inviting you into my life. Again, I'm going to say that a lot. I'm inviting you to be a part of my life. Disconnected in time and place. That's what a vlog is to me. I'm trying to influence you to try harder at simple things that are difficult for you because your parents, frankly, didn't love you. Because, frankly, if you're not already a complete person who's in the Illuminati and actually working in a major organization toward real change, toward really engaging with the future in a meaningful way, it just means your parents were inadequate. And that's fine. This is not a kind of adequacy that can be measured, that can be value judged. Every parent is inadequate to the task. That's why it requires a village, right? That's why raising a child requires a village, because any two parents only have 4 eyes and only have 2 life experiences. That's why you do need your grandparents in your life. I'm saying that as a person who doesn't have his grandparents in his life. I'm telling you, there are advantages that come with having 4 grandparents. There are advantages that come with having step-grandparents and step-parents. And so the more parents, the more parental figures you have in your life growing up, in fact, really the more likely you are to be fucked up. But the greater actual advantage you have in life, and that's called privilege in today's modern parlance. And so there's this bourgeoisie guilt about privilege that you should absolutely reject and ignore. But the reason you react with your bourgeoisie guilt about your privilege is because with privilege comes responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. Privilege is power. And so I was meditating in content the other night about how to even begin to articulate the worldview that tries to argue that, well, because time equals money, and money equals free speech, and money equals power, that your expression of your privilege is protected by the First Amendment. And so denying your privilege, which means denying your responsibilities and your duties back to your community, is also a part of your First Amendment rights. And this is why I say the Democrats, their only concern is with destroying the United States, is because their only concern is with making the lesser argument the greater. And in so doing, they undermine the very faith values on which the nation was formed. You understand? Hopefully a little better now. I'm solid. I need new stuff. And I would like to make money at this. But I know there's one other avenue that I'm forgetting, but it's almost time. How long have I been going? Yeah, too long. I should have stopped 20 minutes ago, but you know, I'm okay with running on. You can watch these at your leisure. You can not watch these. I'm kind of in a whatever place. And so eventually, maybe the homelessness blogs just need to go to talking in the future. Maybe they're for the future. Maybe they're not for Alitea purposes, but I don't know. As Shaggy Philalitea, I can't not try to reach toward the truth for you. I can't not do that. Anyways, you'll help me solve this riddle. You'll help me figure things out. And that's my point. Is, you know, they used to say that 2 heads are better than 1. 2,000 heads are better than 1,000 heads, and 20,000 heads are better than 10,000 heads, right? The more people you have solving a problem, the more likely you are to solve that problem into perpetuity. The problem becomes, to use a phrase twice, the issue that you run into with that line of thinking. The issue that you run into with that line of thinking is that not everyone that you're going to include, if you're trying to include everyone in a DEI kind of manner, not everyone that you're going to include wants the problem solved. We've run into a situation where everyone in charge of solving the problem doesn't want the problem solved. In fact, beyond not wanting the problem solved, wants the problem deepened. And this is what I meditate on as far as Christ's table and whether I should be embarrassed to be using it. And the answer is no. Human hands are working at this, and all of the people in that kitchen are going to heaven. They've all been given redemption. They are all doing exactly the one and the only thing that God has universally never changed its mind about. And that's helping the widow and the hungry. And they do so much more than that. And Absolutely not. I'm not taking advantage of this. They want me fed. And the biggest problem that I have right now is that my stomach hurts because it's just always full. I have loaves of bread for this weekend. Like, my worst problem is that I'm lonely. Anymore. And that's just a new thing that I get to learn. That's a new thing that I get to teach you about, learning how to deal with. So what I want to end on, because I'm sure this is, so tell me what I forgot in the comments. Tell me what I left off and never got back to. And see, you can test yourself in your ability to remember the specifics of what I'm talking about by knowing what I've forgotten and even pointing out like mistakes that I've made as I play. I'm always open to learning, not just new things, but how I've made mistakes. Because the aletheia of it all requires me to watch my film, so to speak, honestly, and learn from it, and almost to be as hard on myself as Justin Fields is doing on himself right now. 4-2 is pretty good. It's 1 interception, you threw 30 over the course of your time in Chicago. And that's what I'm learning the most. I don't know if I'm articulating that on camera, but it is that life is significantly more forgiving than our parents told us it was. Not just that our parents told us it was, but then we believe it and are made to believe that it is. The Christians who preach forgiveness and preach mercy and who preach that God is merciful and who remember, if you remember my, and if you bother to watch my dizzying array of John, I did 3:16 yesterday, and I got into it for about a half an hour, and I could have gotten into it for 6 more halves of hours about how God's love isn't our love. God doesn't love us the way we love one another. This is why ancient people were so concerned with prayers, asking God to teach us to love in the manner that it loves us, or that He loves us, because we don't do that naturally, that it requires a huge amount of effort in order to learn for the average person. And I'm here to tell you that what I'm learning is that thing that I failed to articulate earlier, that little changes that seem unnecessary tend to be the keys that open doors for you. And another way of saying, for those who are enjoying the meta text and the meta video of what I'm doing and have watched episode 5, I think maybe 6 of my Final Fantasy Let's Play, you'll remember that I forget what the hell I'm talking about, and have. Is this? Of course it's not cute. Sorry about my hand in your face. Well, damn, I forgot what I was talking about entirely, not just because I started that process, but I was trying to remember how I got to thinking about it, and that broke me. So sorry for that. I can get back at it, but what happens is I've talked about a lot of things, and I was trying to think of how you could even know, and then I got to thinking that what I should do is I should encourage you to tell me in the chat when I cross-pollinate. Oh, you talked about this and that other thing, and you said this, or oh, you were talking about that and you forgot it and you got it here, that sort of thing. That's a big ask, and then I got myself all confused, and I didn't kind of like what I'm doing now, and that's something I learned as a philosopher. I have dedicated myself in this video to least not doing it so much. Flinching is what that is. I flinched. Okay, I'm ready to call it. I've been telling you that, well, at least I was telling you in these, that it hurts me. It was hurting me that I wasn't able to be grateful to you, the YouTube audience, in general. It was really getting under my skin that I couldn't be grateful to you. And so what we're going to see, I teased it early in the video. We'll see if I can figure out how to actually edit the video. And what will happen is, right here, I'm going to put, maybe even in this very frame, I'm going to show you my analytics. I'm going to show you what I've done last week. Since I told you I was having trouble feeling grateful for you, I want you to see what you've done for my life. My numbers have just exploded beyond my wildest dreams. 6 people came into my life and promised me that they were going to be a massive part of my life as audience and as emotional and financial support. And as soon as the emotional and financial support the bill came due, and as soon as I began using this channel for what this channel was always meant to be for, me to speak directly to you about what my lived experience is like and how you can benefit from what I'm learning, they fucked off. 6 of them. Well, that dropped me to 30 follows. I'm back to 36 follows. That puts me 1 more than yesterday. That puts me 14 away from being able to live stream on my phone, which puts me closer to being able to monetize, which puts me closer to being able to stop asking you to help me get to my personal goals. And then my personal goals can start to happen organically. And what I want to do is I want to tell you here at the end that I told you that I was disappointed in you. And I was having a lot of trouble being grateful for you. I really was very angry at online culture. And now what I want to tell you is that over the course of the last 2 weeks, I have become very proud to be on YouTube. I've become very proud of the culture, of the people that I run across. The toxicity is still there, but I don't think people realize that creators of all sizes still read comments. And I think that we can talk about that in another channel, whether they should or not, and whether you should say negative things to human beings in general. That can be a meditation. But even my weird, quirky, just me being me, singing 3/4 well enough to be singing in public as I work up and work through a lot. I have a lot of performance anxiety. My parents were really cool about my desire to be a performer, to sing, to dance. I'm a terrible dancer. I'm so tall and skinny, and I've got 3 left hands. But they were just really cruel. They discouraged me with violence, and then when the violence didn't work, the violence just made me defiant. They discouraged me with the most poisoned kind of language you can use to a teenager. And it put a lot of give up. And so people have been giving me positive feedback. Tiny drips of it. But I'm proud of you for that, and I'm grateful to you for that. I'm grateful to you for my numbers. Hopefully I'm smart enough that you'll have seen them by now. But I am grateful. I'm getting as many as 400 views on my shorts, and I'm up now to 64. Only 64% of people are swiping away. That's a 2% improvement just in a day. That improved my average for the week just yesterday. Just what you guys did for me yesterday improved my average for the week by 2 full percentage points. That's huge. My view times are skyrocketing up. They're not just skyrocketing. They're skyrocketing up to where it was when I was watching all of my videos multiple times all the way through to double check them for quality. I haven't watched one of my videos all the way through since then because I wanted that spike. I asked you, I've been asking you to not make me do that. Not make me do that. Don't make me artificially inflate my numbers, and this is what I'm thankful for. You aren't making me artificially inflate my numbers. You aren't making me go through and timestamp my own work in that manner. And that's a huge deal. It's a big ask from me. It's a lot of work for me to do that, first of all. It's a lot of battery power. It's really inconvenient just to my lived experience. But more than that, it shows a forgiveness and a willingness to engage with somebody who's clearly doing his best to engage back. It shows a reciprocation that I've been asking for my whole life. And what that means is there are as many as 400 people in any given 8-hour block that my videos go up, because they don't stay in the algorithm long, but they do. 5 to 8 hours, they're consistently getting videos, getting views. That's you. That's you choosing to give me a chance. And a lot of you, 6 of you, have given me a chance. 6 new people have given me a chance. You just don't understand how thankful I am. All I ever asked for, all those people who abandoned me, everywhere I've ever taken a job, all I've ever asked for is a chance. Just give me a chance to be my best, and don't get in the way, and don't be political, and don't take what's mine from me. And I'm just really grateful to know that there are people out there willing to help a brother out, even if it's just, hey, word of mouth. And I told you that that's not adequate, but it's a start. And I like that you guys, I can tell that whoever you are out there, you're hearing me when I say inadequate doesn't mean evil. It just means it means we can get incrementally better together. And I've gotten incrementally better, not just with my gear, but I was comfortable. The night before last, I was uncomfortable. My blankets kept getting tangled up and stuff, but I was comfortable, entirely comfortable last night. So comfortable last night that the only thing I had to bitch about, and of course you're going to wake up in the middle of the night bitching, everybody does, especially when the real reason you're waking up in the middle of the night bitching is because you didn't get stoned enough before you went to sleep, so you're waking up sober and sore. Point being, the only thing I had to really bitch about wasn't that my knees and my ankles and my feet hurt. My feet are healing. Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot this is the homelessness, and I cannot believe I forgot to mention that. My feet are healing. They don't hurt. They're sore. And my backpack isn't heavy anymore, and I have enough carbs and enough protein that I'm building muscle and I'm putting on weight and I'm getting better. Look, my skin tone is starting to darken. I washed my hair last night. I took a good bath. It wasn't a bath, but I took a good sponge bath. It's a bath. I didn't submerge. It was nice. I am liking this. I've been having the time of my life through the struggle, through the challenge of it all, the learning and the failing. But now I'm just stacking wins. And so this is why I always tell you that life is more like a football game than it is like a TV show. It's more like a season, a football season. Your life is more like a football season than it is like any single military campaign. Sure, you might stack losses. Sure, you might have mistakes. But win or loss, season over, that's all up to you. It's up to you to decide whether you've actually ever failed. Well, did you fail, or did you not succeed and learn something, and in learning something, succeed in what you set out to do? I never feel like I've failed, because I just orient myself toward learning how to do it better next time. Always learn it better how to do it next time. Never try to get the A+ 100% on any one test, because there's always another test. Always another test. Always something else we can learn. Always another chance. Right? Alright. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I told you that it was hard for me to say that, and that I probably wasn't going to, but thank you for being here, really. Thank you for giving me a damn chance. And so having done so, and having started this on the screen for so long, I really should have done was this? A long time ago. Remember to keep your eyes open, hands up, palms out, head on a swivel. Do better next time than you did this time. Always better tomorrow than today. And take care of yourself, alright? That's what really matters to me. I think that people don't understand the difference in loving themselves, caring for themselves, and only being concerned with what they feel right now. How you feel right now is not how you're going to feel tomorrow, maybe not even how you're going to feel in the exact moment after this one. So orienting yourself towards satisfying every emotion you feel is a dead end. Keep that in mind. Care for yourself like a lover would. In fact, care for yourself like God would. And the rest will fall into place for you. There you go, the gold and the platinum rules. Love you, kids. Shaggy out.